guys, welcome back to another episode of Dying with Diabetes in America. I, of course, am Michelle Robinson, and here with me, my insanely talented co-host.
Me.
Wait, no, they replaced you. Myke.
What?
Furley.
Oh, man, for a minute, I thought I had the night off. Okay, cool.
Almost.
How you been? Good week for you? Highs, lows, what's going on?
It's been bullshit highs. I mean, what am I going to do at this point? Like, it's just been... I'm literally eating kale, and I'm going up to 180. But it's also a lot of stress. So, you combine it all.
Last week on the show, we actually caught you going into a low, right? Like you were crashing last week. And then for the rest of the week, it's just been no matter what you eat, you're going high.
I'm going high, I'm going low. It's a roller coaster. You know, it's a roller coaster from hell. It's just nonstop. And I'm not doing anything, oh my God, different. I'm not starting my days off with funnel cake or milkshakes or anything fun. It's
right.
The same stuff.
Well, it sounds like a crappy week, but something to be happy about for you is your guest that, unfortunately, last week, for people who don't live in Florida and don't understand, the weather goes from, beautiful and sunny to, just
oh my God, there's apocalyptic,
like in 10 minutes. Your guest was actually living in the Panhandle, or still lives in the Panhandle, where they got hit pretty bad with storms last week.
Yeah, with Sally.
Yeah, but the good news is he's actually here, and I know that's making you super excited because all week you're like, my guest is going to be here this week. So do you want to go ahead and introduce your guest for the week?
I will. So I would like everyone to welcome Daniel. I'm not going to kill his last name. You haven't seen his last name yet. You need to see his last name. But Dash Lemke. Okay. So Dash. Hey. All right. So Danny, how do you pronounce your last name?
Okay, it's a tongue twister. So it's Polak. It's Tuszynski.
Tuszynski.
Okay.
Bam. Done.
So much easier than trying to read it. Screw you, Myke. You didn't have to read it. I was like, Dash Lemke.
Yeah, everybody in elementary school used to just call me Alphabet Soup.
I like that. I like that a lot. So I've been very excited about having you on the show. I mean, since getting to know you a little bit in our group, or the group you created, Dead Pancreas Society.
I love that name, by the way.
So beautiful.
I felt like it's poetic.
Yeah. It's also just a little bit twisted. It's got that sense of humor to an otherwise depressing situation, which I don't know, Michelle told you when we started this podcast, she was in a pretty bad place. So we started just to kind of bring her out of her funk. And I can't believe the pushback she got from some people in the diabetic community. Like, you can't call yourselves dying with diabetes in America. And it's like, well, there's so many living with diabetes and it's just, that doesn't match Michelle's sort of attitude towards everything.
You've got to take everything tongue in cheek.
Exactly. I mean, people who don't see the humor in it just take it too seriously.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And it's one of those things. That's why I was so glad we started it and why I didn't change the name. I thought about it. I had taken little polls, but no, you got to go to brass tacks with it. And yeah, we're living with diabetes. Obviously, we're not dead.
It's an amazing name. When did you get the idea to start doing merchandise with this?
Recently, actually, during the pandemic is what started. I've worked retail my whole life. And unfortunately, down here, we're such a tourist community. So when it shut down, I was like, bits and pieces shut down. And I was like, I'm not going to go out there and put myself at risk. I have I have an autoimmune disease. My mother has one. And I can't do that.
Now, where exactly, I know I mentioned the Panhandle. Where exactly do you live?
I live in a small, tiny town called Niceville, but it is 2 minutes outside of Destin, which is huge.
Okay.
I've been to Destin.
I do shows up there at the Block in Fort Walton from time to time.
He likes to consider himself a comedian. I mean, he's kind of funny. We'll be able to rate it.
Small world. My mom actually used to work with a girl who married the owner of the block.
Oh, Mark Hawkins
Yep.
up there.
Yep.
Yep.
His
Yep.
wife
Wow.
Erica.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yep.
He's that is the definition of one of those guys who lives in a smaller town, but could possibly be the mayor of that town. He has
100%.
a ton of money, invests in businesses.
Very smart
He's
man.
always treated me very well when I've gone through there. So yeah,
They're good people.
but I get what you're saying with that town. It's definitely a tourist-based community. I live in Orlando right now, and it's the same thing. When something like this hits, it doesn't just affect Disney. It just doesn't just affect Universal. Orlando was built up around those places. So if people aren't going there, it's a ton of mom and pop places that are just. We have Air National Drive here, which is where Wet and Wild used to be. And so many restaurants on that strip are never going to recover from this. They're just closing their doors up. So you were doing retail for years. The pandemic hit, and I just got on TikTok. Just started exploring that.
Did you do that because you're afraid Trump was going to shut it down?
To tell you the truth, I'm 43 years old, and as soon as you tell me I can't have something, is the only time I want it. But what I was amazed to find was a whole community of do-it-yourselfers and people who started making their own businesses due to the pandemic, which I found amazing. People who were working for other people just last year have now put themselves in a position where they're never going back to working for someone else again, which I find amazing. So tell us a little bit more about your business. What is it you actually make right now?
As of right now, I just do T-shirts, and I'm starting off small because it's just me. So I got T-shirts, I got short sleeves, long sleeves. I'm starting a new design for hoodies for winter, of course.
Nice.
I do car decals, insulin bags, like little meter bags.
That is so cool. That's awesome.
That is.
Michelle used to carry her stuff around in a little lunchbox. So that is.
I had the little tin lunchboxes, Bewitched and Nightmare on Elm Street and all the fun stuff. I Dream of Jeannie.
Classics.
Absolutely.
But,
and that's how I toted it.
I just say that because you think back to then, and I'd be like, why is she carrying her stuff around the lunchbox? And now that you really think about it, they weren't really making anything for diabetics. It was like, here's all your stuff that you need to bring with you everywhere you go, or you could die. But unfortunately, we got nothing for you to put it in. So
exactly.
Just the fact that you came up with the bags is great. So was this something you had any experience in beforehand, or did you have to go out and source how to do this and buy all the equipment, or did you have kind of a mentor?
My uncle was Geppetto, don't you know? Like, no, I had absolutely no idea what I was getting myself into. Just did it.
Nice. Awesome. Do you have like your own silk screen print machines and things like that? Because that's what it looks like. I could be totally wrong.
No, it's running off of vinyl.
Nice. Okay.
So you using like now some people, I've heard them say it's a cry cut. I think it's a cricket. Is the way to pronounce it, and Cameo, which is vinyl cutting machines. But both of those are not overly expensive. But for someone who's never done anything before, it's got a price tag on it just to go, I'm not sure if I'm going to know how to do this, but let me put myself into this.
I think like I invested $200 on the machine for the vinyl machine, and then probably about $50-$60 on the side stuff to get myself started. And then the heat press over here cost me about $300.
Wow.
But I mean, that's amazing to take something that you don't like. I could like look behind him. He's got insulin bottles. He's got syringes. No, like I love it. He's got the skull. I mean, to take that and just put that together and be able to throw that out there, I think it's very smart.
Do you do all your own designs, or do you have artist friends?
Nope. I do not have. I'm getting to the point where some people are starting to like me. The group is finally picking up.
Nice. Well, that's amazing. So you've been doing this for, was it since the very beginning of the pandemic, or how long would you say now? 3, 4, 5 months?
Since about February.
Awesome.
And how is it going for you? Has it started out? Have you been getting decent amount of sales as it spreads, or?
We have, like I said, the group has really started me off. Like, we have almost reached 700 members. So between them and not having any kind of diabetic products that is personalized or customizable or anything like that, people love it.
Nice.
I have to say, I've seen very positive feedback. Like, not only just on the different posts you make, but also on the merchandise and everything. It's nice to see things that are being produced to make our life more out there, to make more people see it, more people understand, and also to make it easier with amazing bags.
I mean, I don't want people. I mean, I don't mind explaining my disease, but I don't want people just to see my disease. Like, I don't want people just to see my CGM or just to see me with my pump. Like, I want them to see that, it can be fun. It doesn't have to be just needles and constant like ups and downs. Like, it can be fun.
And I do have to say, like, just on your group alone, I have noticed that you put a lot of spin on that. And being in, I think, as many diabetic groups, at least personally, that I'm in, it's been a really hard time to find people that don't just bully. Like, and so many people do. Like, if
What you
you're
mean
not,
as far as not non-diabetics bullying diabetics, but
no, diabetics on
bullying within?
diabetics. Oh yeah.
Diabetic on diabetic crime has been one of the issues
100%.
in this country for so long. I mean, I know you guys would march and protest more, but the low blood sugar thing just.
And now we have to. And now we have to fight off the health nuts for our CGMs.
Yeah. Oh, so you saw that level of bullshit. So I'm not even gonna lie. Like, literally the day after I had read that, and I didn't say it before because I wanted to see what would happen. But so I got a message that Libre was updating their apps, and they were just like, just to let you know, we only guarantee you what's on our apps. And I'm thinking to myself, are you doing that? Because they're using your shit. Like, are you trying to cover yourself?
They are.
I get it.
They're backtracking and eating shit at the same time.
Yes. But I mean, so many other things are getting bought out by bigger companies. Now, I only got an email. It could have been wrong. I hope it's wrong. But I read that my favorite insulin pen, which I don't have right now, but my favorite insulin pen is called an InPen. And it's an amazing insulin pen that connects to an application on your phone and will download exactly how much insulin you take, when you take it, depending on the parameters you put in, will let you know how much insulin you have on board, just like a pump. And combine that with the Libre, you almost have a Dexcom. You're really close to having a Dexcom. So I can't afford Dexcom anymore. It's just one thing I haven't been able to afford. Not a big deal. I'm learning how to deal with that. But I just heard that InPen might have been bought out by a big company, Medtronic.
Well, yeah, Michelle is always in the market to MacGyver up some diabetic.
Hell yeah, I am. I've made shit work for 10 years.
Over the course of this podcast, I've learned how to take a Dremel and change the cartridges of one to fit into the pen of another. It's just it's amazing stuff.
InPen.
But Danny, I'm looking for you right now. What is the name of your group that we can go to and find your products?
It would actually be under Dab Designs.
On Facebook, Dab Designs, or
yes,
okay.
That is the company name, and Dead Pancreas Society is just one of the brands we produce, along with Insulin Junkie and Dead Inside.
I love Insulin
I didn't even know about Dead Inside. I love that. Oh, I love that so hard. I don't know how I haven't realized it.
Well, it's kind of still in the works because I want to use the Hello Kitty with the syringe and the little vial.
That.
Well, I want to use that as for my children's base because, when you hear diabetes, you always think of, the finger stickings and having to constantly shoot up. And as me, I was 19 when I was diagnosed, and that still scared the shit out of me. Like, it didn't hit me until they made me draw my own insulin and shoot myself up in the bed. And I sat there and I cried.
Did they ever have you inject into an orange? Because they had
They
me
did not.
do that. They said the same resistance that you would have in your actual.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. But if you're looking for Danny's company on Facebook, make sure you go under Dab Design, capital DAB Design. There's a Dab Designs and a Dab Designs LLC. You don't want them; they're crap. So you want Dab Design, DAB Design. And I'm sorry, I don't usually interrupt. I usually don't laugh out loud. Like I'm a comedian by trade, so I've learned to watch other people's stuff and not laugh because I hide my jealousy well. But I just came across one of your prints and it says, "My pancreas runs on batteries." And for some reason, that just destroyed me. You have such great stuff. This is amazing. You know, sometimes you hear someone going, "Oh, I have my vinyl cutting business and I make t-shirts," and you go, okay. And then you look it up and it's just like, okay, they took a font and they heat pressed it onto a t-shirt. But this art is amazing. Your type 1 diabetes ribbon is just, wow. That looks like it should be in every 5K race. This is some great stuff. Oh my gosh.
I appreciate it.
It's very, very, and I think that's a huge, I think that's a huge thing. You came out of not even thinking about this to doing this, and it's amazing. And your group alone has gained so many followers. I've been following you as you've been saying how many are joining, and it's exciting.
I remember when we started with just 10.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I didn't join until you had like 500. I knew nothing about you, and I think that's where Facebook kind of fails us a little, because it doesn't help us find it doesn't have a good enough search engine, I guess, to help us find groups that we would really fit into.
Exactly.
It's one of those things that, I see your stuff, I see your posts, and I love it. It's hysterical. Let me tell you how many MFN unicorns this boy gets daily. Okay, so unicorns, so Myke doesn't know this. Unicorns are when your blood sugar is running 100. It's beautiful.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
perfect.
that's way different than my knowledge of what we call unicorns. So
So, but there are other people that think unicorns are when your blood glucose matches your CGM, which no, I'm sorry. There's too much of a percentage of no right there. So I like that you understand unicorns. I love that you post them. I do. I love that you post them, because it helps us remember that no matter what the time of day, no matter what's going on, we can do it. We can get there.
Now, Danny, are you a type 1 or type 2 diabetic?
I'm a type 1.
Type 1. And how old were you when you were diagnosed?
I was diagnosed when I was 19, and I was diagnosed on Thanksgiving Day.
Wow.
Oh.
Yes.
How were you diagnosed? Was there something going on Thanksgiving Day? Did you hit a low and not know what was going on, go to the hospital, or did you have a family member that was diabetic, sensing something was wrong and test you? What's going on?
I'm actually the only type 1 diabetic that I know of in my family. And we had actually decided to go up to my aunt's house for Thanksgiving that year. And I had lost like 60 pounds, maybe 2 weeks prior to leaving. And I was drinking a ton of water. I was drinking it as fast as you could fill it up. I was not eating. I was not sleeping. I was urinating constantly. I had the classic symbols of type 1 diabetes. And then the burps came, and I'm like, oh my goodness, does anybody else smell this shit? Because
the burps,
it's sweet.
It tastes sweet, but it doesn't smell sweet.
No, it smells
I think
rotten.
this is the first time I've heard of the burps. Now I've heard of the breath. It's like it's like a stale or rotten fruit, like
juicy fruit gone wrong.
But you actually get burps.
Oh, it was awful. Yes. So when we went up there, like I said, I'd lost 60 pounds. I was thin. And I was like, you know what? Last growth spurt. I'm 19, puberty's ending. Like, I'm finally losing the baby fat because, I was teased my whole childhood about being overweight. So I was like, yes, finally looking good. No, God was like, there's that time clock above your head. Now you got to really take care of yourself. So it was.
By the way, I'm gonna fuck up an organ. No problem.
Yeah.
A couple of them, because when I first went in there, my blood sugar was reading over 1400. Like, the doctor was like, I have no idea how you're still talking to me without being comatose.
Yeah.
Wow.
My A1Cs were in the 17s. Like, it was, I was done for.
Oh my God.
So, like, they tested my blood sugar before we went to the hospital, and they're like, oh, well, he's not reading. Like, the little thing's blinking, just says hi, and I'm like,
Hi.
oh, well,
Hi.
I was like, yep. And they're like, well, we're going to go to the hospital. And I was all like, well, no, we're not until I eat this pecan pie, because I know they're going to keep my ass. And if I'm going to go in there, I'm going to go in there happy.
I'm going to get ice chips for the next 3 days. Nobody's going to be happy.
No, girl, you know what they brought me?
What?
Baked chicken and collard green. Not even good collard greens.
No.
So, yeah, no. I was disappointed. I was like, I'm in South Georgia, and I'm getting the worst food of my life on Thanksgiving Day. Like, this blows.
No. Oh, God. And their baked chicken is always the exact size of your fist. I never know how they do that. Exact size. And it's always the same color as your fist, too.
It's the ones that aren't pumped up with the chemicals.
I know, and that's so sad. It's like, give me the chemical.
That is bad.
Wow. Okay. So, what did you immediately go on shots? Did they put you on a pump?
Well, once I got back, they put me on my mom, because I was still on my mom's insurance at the time. Back in that time, you could still be on your parents' insurance over the age of 18.
You're so much younger than I am. Okay, go ahead. So you got to stay on your parents' insurance. It's great. So go ahead.
So we did that, and I got on my first pump, which was the Medtronic.
Oh, yes.
It was great and all, but at that age, being diagnosed at 19, I didn't take it seriously. I didn't. Yeah. At that point, I didn't look sick. I mean, I felt sick, but I didn't look sick, so I didn't take it seriously.
Yep.
So I got on the pump, and I dabbled around on it, and I decided, when summer rolled back around, that it wasn't for me. I was going to go to the beach. It was too expensive to buy the sites and replace them. It didn't stick as good. So I decided to get off the pump, and I went to the pins, which was great until I didn't really care about that either. I was just like, you know what? Take it when I take it.
I can live with the highs because it's better than the lows.
Oh, 100%.
Yep.
Well, I mean, to me, it is.
Feel you.
I'm an asshole to everybody else, apparently. So
no, legit, I am too. But then I can be like, "Oh my God, my blood sugar is high."
So I'm either I'm drunk or I'm high, because either why are you so mean?
And I was literally, yeah. I mean, I can honestly say that high blood sugars ruled most of my later teens, early 20s. That's all I did. I was downing the Arizona green tea, not the diet, the full sugary one. And I was like, yeah, whatever, I'm good. I don't care. I don't care what my blood sugar is. I didn't have an A1C as high. My highest A1C that I remember was 12%. And my lowest while I was pregnant was 4.9%. And I feel shitty at both of them. So,
where's a good in between?
Exactly. And right now I'm 7.1. I'm just like, all right, we'll stay there. We're good. We're good going.
Well, so, seven's still good. That's still a good A1C to be at.
Thank you.
That's great to be proud of.
We had talked about yours, and if you don't mind, I was gonna 6.1%.
I am.
That's amazing. I mean, it really, really is. It's an amazing show from somebody who went from not caring as much, and I think we've all been there in our own ways, and then getting on top of it, really working. And I mean, your partner Brian, he's on board with you. He is a good support system. Yeah,
definitely.
And I think that you have to have that, whether you have that with friends, or you have that with family, or you have that with your loved one. You need support. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
this is an ongoing chronic illness that I believe sparks a lot of just mental issues.
100%.
I'm sorry if you guys keep hearing me snickering in the background. I'm not laughing at anything about your
I'm
struggle with
uneasy.
diabetes, or I've been reading some of these prints while you guys are talking, and some of them just catch me in that way. One of the prints is "Don't be a quitter," and then parentheses like my pancreas, which I can totally hear. After
Oh my
speaking
god,
with
I
Danny
love
for
that.
like 20 minutes and knowing Michelle most of my life, I can totally hear both your voices when
Oh
I
my
read that.
god.
And
That
then
is poetic.
there's type wonderful, like instead of type one,
Yes.
type wonderful. And yeah, but first, let me take my insulin, which I think explains everything. And then my personal favorite so far that just caught me kind of, where is it? My body produces insulin like a cow produces rainbows. It just doesn't happen. This is
Dude.
great. This is amazing stuff. And just for those what we call normies who listen to the show, you non-diabetics like you muggles out there, I just wanted to go ahead and tell you there's so much other stuff on Dab Design that has nothing to do with diabetes. So if you just want to go and check out some of the stuff, this is all great. I love that you have a bunch of it looks like corporate logos, and from a distance it totally just looks like Starbucks and North Face. And it's that perfect subtle, like, if you're reading this, it's because you got too close to me, so don't blame me for what it says type shirt.
100%.
Like, if you got your kids, you should just kept walking. But if you want to take the time to read it, this is really amazing stuff, man.
I'm all about staying in my own lane.
It's beautiful. I mean, your talent is very, very apparent, I have to say.
Talent?
No, you can look behind you, but there's only you, bud. There's only you.
So what was the biggest change for you going from working for someone else to doing this? Like, is there anything you weren't expecting? Was it harder than you thought it'd be? Or is it something where you're like, man, I should have started doing this years ago?
Should have started doing this years ago.
Really?
Yes, because I'm so tired of dealing with everybody's shit.
All the goddamn bosses that are like, no, you don't need this right now, or you can live without this right now. And you're like, no, I'm going to die. No, you're fine. Go back to work.
100%. And then, for me, it was a stress factor relief. It was the fact that I knew that I wasn't leaving my home. I wasn't going to be sick. I knew who came in and out of my house at all times. So,
you could treat yourself with your own stuff on your own time.
Peace of mind.
Yes, I have to say, one of the biggest regrets I have is honestly working in the workforce and feeling bad when I had a low and I had to go into another room to recuperate, and it might take me 20 minutes. And it's not that I want that. It's not like a fun break time for me. I'm trying to stop sweating uncontrollably so I can fix my makeup and go back to my secretary gig.
Right.
And nobody understood that. Nobody truly understood that, okay, my blood sugar's 400 this morning because my sight fell out of my pump, and I'm not going to be able to come into work. And they were like, no, you'll be fine. No, I won't.
Right.
And we don't have that protection at all in the workforce.
Not yet.
No, very true. Not
yet.
Yeah. No, this is absolutely amazing stuff. I know exactly what you're saying. I think I know when it was. It was 2010 when I decided to quit my day job and just pursue stand-up comedy full time. And my boss made it really easy for me. I was working at a place. Where they had been giving me weekends off, so I could do comedy. Is that a low?
I have to check my blood. Hold on. I had a lot of insulin.
We'll be here. You think you're high?
No, I think
I'm gonna guess. We'll say 90. We'll say 92.
No, 132, which is still really good because
that's way off.
No, I was gonna pull a Price is Right and go 93.
What?
I hated those people.
1 cent.
I hated those people.
No, 1:32, which is really good because I mean, we had a makeshift dinner tonight, and I made myself a salad, but a soup, and a soup sometimes hits me good or bad. Like it's a
Ironically,
crapshoot.
I'm 133.
Oh my
What?
god, we're so
That's so funny.
close.
Very, very nice.
I have to say, you have inspired me to look at my sugars more. And I know we talked about that earlier in the conversation, but I'm going to say, like, I avoid them sometimes because I get sad if I don't see the number I expect. And so now I'm trying to do more things, like immediately after eating even my baby crap kale smoothie. Even that, like when I have that, I try to do like 5 to 10 minutes of yoga just to
Mhm.
move like just to help the insulin.
Just to get it moving. Yep.
Exactly. So it's one of those things that I will say that you were making a joke about it earlier, how you thought you were kind of uh,
A
you were
number
very,
snob.
yes, you were a number snob.
100%.
And I have to say that it just helped me though remember that like my numbers aren't everything. I'm going to do whatever I can to make them the best I can, but
That's all you can do.
you have to learn to let go. You have to learn that sometimes stress is going to make you jump up 100 points because you want to just smack somebody so hard.
I'm telling you what, that day was my mother.
We talked about earlier, stressful moment. He jumped up out of nowhere, and like I feel you.
She
I
woke me
mean,
up at 6 o'clock in the morning, wanted to know what we were having for dinner.
oh, good
Mm-mm.
lord, good lord.
But
Like,
that just goes to show, like, the slightest stress makes us jump however many points we jump.
yeah,
It's never a guaranteed, like, I'm a little bit stressed, I'm going to go up 10 points.
exactly. You
Like,
can't judge it by the the level of
Yeah.
pissed off that you are.
See,
it's
and that's amazing to me because you think diabetes and you think blood sugar and you think okay, you got to monitor everything you eat and then when you find out there's other variables in there, like wait a minute, stress, just stress, not even elephant ears, it's stress that can cause you to
right.
spike.
Shark
That's
Attack
ridiculous.
Week. Okay, do you know I on average during Shark Attack Week, you know why I call it that, I go up 20 points more than normal. So no matter what I eat during that 1 week a month, I'm screwed.
And
Like,
not in the fun way.
no, because it's Shark Attack Week.
So, like, you're just bloated, you're crabby, your blood sugar's going up. Like, that's like
And
the
my blood
hell.
sugar is going up without me eating chocolate. Like, I don't even get chocolate.
I'd be pissed off too. Like,
Mm.
Right?
you should sue. Like, you need to, like, write out some shit.
Like, what the hell is this BS? All those boxes that they say they send out to you on Facebook, like, oh, you can't get your birth control in time. We'll send you a box with chocolate and whatever. Maybe I can get them to send me insulin.
Doubtful, but I'm still waiting for that chocolate.
I'm down for the chocolate. I'm not gonna lie. We talked about the Oreos that are in my house that I can't touch. It's mean. Mean, mean, mean.
So, dang, I'm going through your Facebook page here, Dab Design. And where do you do the ordering from? Is it straight from Facebook or do you have a Etsy shop or how's that work out?
It is straight from Facebook at the moment. Like I said, I'm just now starting out. I haven't worked on a computer. Like, I was so surprised I can get this shit working. It was awful. I'm all over here trying to like work HHTPs, because back in the day, like I used to come home and brag, and like my mom's like, "You're so smart," and I'm like, "I know." And now I'm like, everything is done off a phone now. Everything,
Yes.
like I do everything off my phone. So when I pick up a computer, I'm like looking like an
Really?
idiot. Yes.
Not gonna lie, my daughter, since e-learning, she has done everything on a Mac computer. It has been so long since I've been on a Mac computer that she's like, "How do you find the downloaded stuff?" I don't know.
You're asking the
I
wrong
don't-
person. That's above my
We're-
pay grade.
Yeah, we gotta right click that stuff. Email your teacher. I don't know. It's bad.
I gotta find Google.
So, do you do all your designing and everything else on your phone as well, or what you use for that?
Well, with the Cricut, you get the Cricut Design Shop. So you pay into that and you get access to different things. So I just create whatever I want to create, and then I save it and I put it on my group, and they tell me if it's either good or shit, and we go from there.
That's awesome. That's where Facebook really pays out. Not only do we get to all talk to each other, but we all get to tell each other, like, what? Yay, no.
Facebook has really actually helped me because I don't have any type 1 diabetic like friends like in the physical being. So creating this group helped me reach out, and I wanted it to be a place where people could come and celebrate their good days and bitch about their bad days and get support, because I'm good at 7 o'clock in the morning, but I might be bad at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I want to bitch about it. And you know what? These are my people. Like, they understand me. They understand where I'm coming from, and that every day is a constant battle with yourself. Like, your body is attacking itself every day. Every day is a constant battle. It's tiring, and they get it.
I love
that's
that.
kind of how we felt with our podcast and with our Facebook forum. It's not saying that, you know what, you need, there's so many diabetic forums out there that it's just like, as soon as someone gets a little bit negative, they're like, hey, you gotta remember you're loved and blah 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 blah. And it's almost like, look, there's plenty of places like that, but sometimes you just need to vent, and sometimes you just need to, it's like my dad used to tell me, he's like, sometimes when a girl's angry, just don't try to fix everything. Sometimes she just wants to come home and unload. And I think a lot of us as human beings want to fix everybody that comes to us with the problem. And sometimes that's not what it's about. It's just letting someone feel safe enough to come to you, just unload, get it all out, and go on with their life. And that's hard some days to realize as a person who wants to fix other people all the time. You can't sometimes. So just let them unwind and unload. That's why I love when people come into our forum and they're like, hey, thank you for just letting me, curse and tell you how much I hate life and this disease. I'm not planning on offing myself today, but I just need to vent.
Need to vent. Exactly. And like I said, we're almost at 700 people in our group, and I would listen to every which one of them. Like, they've all become my family.
You reply to I will say, with all the groups that I'm in, not everyone replies to, and you do. You reply to each and every person that comments on it.
Everybody, because everybody's important. Like, they're there for a reason.
That's really, really beautiful. And I think it's important, like with what Myke said, we know things get hard. We know things get too much to deal with. There is a time between when you need somebody to vent to and when you need somebody in the medical field. And I think it's a beautiful thing that we can be there in the interim for them, to let them know one way or the other. I've had people that message me and I tell them, like, okay, you really need to talk to your doctor about that. Because I'm not going to tell you what your basal rates or whatever should be. I don't know. I'm not in your shoes.
I can tell you the formula, and that's about as far as I'll go.
Exactly. No, totally. And I've learned those formulas from reading a couple of different things, and I think it's great. But as you and I know, it's your mileage may vary situation.
Oh, very much so.
And it's are you neurotic? Are you depressed? Do you have anxiety? Well, then that's going to screw your sugar up.
Damn checklists.
Oh, I hate the checklist.
I like
Go ahead.
I feel like as soon as I got diagnosed with diabetes, it was like my car light, check light went on my life. I'm like, damn, everything is broken now. Like, foot's falling apart, my sides hurting, my back's hurting, my neck.
I love it when the doctors highlight what's not wrong with you.
So
they can show you, like, okay, well, this right here, you're okay here.
Your eyesight didn't change this month.
Yeah! Woohoo! Aside from that, you're screwed, dude. I'm sorry.
Well, that's typical manager 101 stuff. When you bring someone and yell at them, you tell them one negative thing, then two positive things. And you can be there for an hour, but as long as you keep that format, they don't quit or kill themselves. So
see, my doctors don't yell at me no more.
Well, no, but your blood sugar is beautiful.
Well, no, I yell back.
I was going to say, I think they're scared you're going to turn them into a T-shirt.
Oh, that's true. I have to say, I have finally found my endocrinologist that I don't yell at. So, like, the last 2, I left screaming at them in their office crying because I was so angry, so I was crying. I wasn't, like, crying because I was sad, I didn't give a shit, but I was mad. So I'm like, "Ah!" and crying. And then I found this one, and he tries to.
Sympathetic,
Yes. He
compassionate.
he can sit there and go, "Okay, let's talk about blah blah blah." Yes, he does try to push certain things at the pharmacy and I accept that. I honestly do. I have no problem with that because I can tell him no and he doesn't like jump down my throat about it.
Right.
He is super, super great. He's rated like the best endocrinologist in my area. And I totally get why. He's understanding, he's sympathetic, he's everything you could want.
Mhm.
But even then, with all that, it's still such a crapshoot. I mean, you go to the hospital and you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know who's gonna know what. And if somebody understands it wrong, that could cost you, your health.
Mhm.
And I think that's the biggest problem that I see nowadays on the groups is people going to the hospital for like DKA or whatnot and then getting mistreated or, you know, just in overall not being cared for the way they should be. And
Well, see, that
it's,
that was the problem is when all of
mhm,
that went down, everybody knew that, people are always going to be sick.
mhm,
So they went into being CNAs and they went into being nurses. And these are the wrong kind of
mhm.
people that don't have compassion for human life or want to do the right thing. They're there for a paycheck. And
Yeah.
I get that because you got to feed your family. But to be in the medical field, you got to have some kind of compassion for humans and what they're
Mhm.
going through and being sympathetic. And a lot of doctors forget that.
Yes.
They get so caught up, and I get it too, because you see so many people, but we're not just a face, you know?
I will say I've gotten more compassion from nurses than I have from doctors. Just me personally.
Mhm.
I have gotten more nurses to say, I've heard that low blood sugar makes you feel like this or whatever. They try to understand. Whereas I feel like the doctors might be jaded a little bit. Like they hear so much bitching, and I hate to say it from type
Mhm.
2s who don't, like my dad's a type 2, doesn't want to listen to the doctor says. So I tell him all the time, I'm like, your doctor's pissed off at you. I'd be pissed off at you. Stop being
Yeah.
a jerk. But he doesn't. So I try to imagine 100 other patients like that for whatever doctor I have. So when they
Mhm.
see it, they're like, no, diabetes, you aren't doing something right. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
literally, I've been doing the same thing every day for the last 180 days. Nothing's changed. It's all screwed up.
Except for my numbers. That's the only thing that changes is my numbers.
Exactly.
I do the same damn thing every damn day, and it's still different.
So I have to say that I wish there was certain like pediatric endocrinologists are studying type 1 diabetes. That's normally what hits. I wish there was a specific endocrinologist for type 1s for
Mhm.
adults that we could go see and they could go, "Hey, yeah, no, we get it. We could put you on metformin or whatever. That's not going to make you create insulin."
It'll just help you process it better.
Exactly. So, wow, while you vomit and whatever your way through the next 3 months, you're going to have great numbers.
And that's not even true either because my mom was a type 2 diabetic and she
Mhm.
was on metformin.
Mhm.
And it made her extremely dehydrated that she went into
Really?
double kidney failure. She was on dialysis for I want to say she did about eight or 12 rounds of dialysis before her kidneys finally kicked back in.
Wow.
Wow.
So, and I'm a big advocate for like not taking any kind of man-made medicines unless like absolutely needed.
You would have hated me on my transplant. I was on 40 different pills.
Well,
Or
no, but
no,
see,
okay, 32 different pills,
but
but
that's
they were all weird.
necessary. That
But
was
at the
necessary.
same time, it really showed you how many pills you actually needed compounded by the amount of pills that you needed to defend yourself against all the side effects. And like, I can see where there are certain times where pills are not helpful. There are certain times where they are.
Oh, definitely.
It would be nicer if they could make something that didn't completely wreck your system.
Yep.
And so, like, with your mom, yeah, I totally understand. Just like with my dad, I've tried to talk him into other ways of lowering his blood sugar in a more natural way and a more healthy way than taking metformin and just ruining your system.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that.
Yep.
Totally.
My mom's like, well, you can't tell me. I told her, you can't tell her nothing. And she's like, well, I wonder where I got that from. I said, no, sister, that's where I got that from. Like, I got it from you. Like,
Exactly. Exactly. Like, when my dad got type 2, I'm not going to lie, I was so pissed. I was so mad. I'm like, wait a minute. You
I got
watched
sick.
your daughter get diagnosed, have to take needles, blah, 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 and your ass got type 2? And it's just been a joke. And each time he comes over to my house, I make him a meal with vegetables in it. And it's like, I'll tell him, like, you have to eat this. If I had to eat all your food for so many years, you have to eat this.
See, is that messed up that I think had the same logic with my oldest brother, except for like he's 400 pounds with a law degree, and I'm over here at like $180 with diabetes.
No, there's nothing wrong with you other than you might want to get him sugar-free Haribo gummy bears for maybe a holiday present. Look on Amazon.com, obviously.
A flaming bag of shit on his dog.
No. Look up Haribo sugar-free gummy bears and just look in the reviews. It will have you dying.
It sounds
all
awful.
night. No, like legit. They're the most amazing laxatives. You need to go just watch the reviews. It will keep you laughing. So then go grab him a bag, a little bag. Don't kill him. A little bag, and then send it to him and be like, from me to you.
I'm about to Amazon that bad boy.
I'm not gonna lie. It's worth it. Totally worth it. Kills me. Just like we can't have, well, I know, I can't have sugar-free chocolate. That's some bullshit. Not only is the carb count not even worth it for what amount of insulin I have to take anyway, but sugar-free chocolate is a laxative. So never, ever, ever get it.
That's good to know.
See, full of advice over here.
See, I would have fucked myself up. I've been like, oh, look at this. And then
No, don't do it. I watched my entire office one year. They got it, and I didn't have any of it because I knew.
Sabotage.
They all had a slice, and all through the day, I'm watching them walk back to the bathroom. I'm like, this is worth me taking the extra calls. I don't even care.
Like, this isn't too good. Sabotage.
Well, we got a few minutes left here. For everybody listening, obviously go over, check out Dab Design on Facebook. Check out all Danny's products. I know when I get off here, I'm gonna order something because some of this stuff is just too funny. But before we get going, Michelle, do you want to ask Danny? And he probably has an answer we haven't heard yet. Do you want to ask your favorite question?
I do. Danny, I know, has also watched a lot of our episodes. So
I'm sorry.
I'm a huge fan.
No, I love it. So he might know. So the question is, what is the weirdest thing you've ever heard that would cure your diabetes?
Oh, well, obviously the cinnamon. Cinnamon.
It's all about cinnamon.
And of course the okra in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, the okra.
Just some ridiculous shit. Like it's like
squishy boogers. How could that help?
So I told him next time, you want to try a line of cinnamon, we'll cut one out and you can go first.
We mentioned it last week, and I find myself thinking about it all during the week. We were talking about The Exorcist, but they had redid it with a diabetic in the bed, and then the priest just came in throwing cinnamon on her, And I'm like, man,
It would
I don't
fix
know why I
us.
can't get that image out of my head. I would love to see someone do a sketch of just a diabetic and some priest or doctor comes in and just cinnamon. Christ compels you.
They've got to be
Cinnamon
hooked up.
compels you.
They have
I'm
to
here
be
for
hooked
it.
up to a pump and just rip that shit off and be like,
That is the worst. I hate that.
Oh, I will admit, and as Myke notes, he has been unfortunately a voyeur to a lot of these, ripping my pump out with tubing, with the little bastard tubing falling out, like somehow unclipping off of my very awesome pants and just blah, blah, hanging as it pulls itself out.
Oh no, Brian came home one day and I was like, all of the pool drawers, shit's got to go. Take them off now. Like, gotta go.
Everything I can get caught on. Yeah.
Yep. And it all went that day.
But it's so hard because there's so many things, and I'm sure you know there's so many things that you don't. I remember opening up my car door and catching it in the flip of opening my door and putting it down and then going shoot, and then you're just like, son of the, I better have another infusion set.
Mine's either my dogs or the doorknobs. Because I can't get rid of doorknobs.
Yeah, I know. Doorknobs are the worst.
They are.
I understand. So, all right. Well, Myke, do you have anything else to ask?
No, like I said, I'm super excited to get on. I'm having problems finding on the mobile app on my phone, finding where to order from on your site. So I'm sure when I open up like on my actual PC, it'll make a lot more sense to me. But I'm looking for there's so much cool stuff here. So
and there's so much more to come because, like I said, my new one's gonna be like, it's gonna say sorry for all the shit I said when I was high.
I love it.
Awesome.
I just need a sign that says that so I can hold it up to my husband every once.
I will make you. I'll make you a flip sign.
Wonderful.
It's been amazing to have you on. Like, honestly, we've been wanting this for a while. I'm so glad you got to come on. I can't wait to have you on again.
And congratulations on the business. That is, as much as we talk about, we don't mind the negative stuff, or we like to let people vent. It's just, it's nice to see someone who takes something like the pandemic and actually used it to better their own lives. And not only that, just I think humor is the cure for so many things out there, or rather not the cure, but it helps you tolerate.
It's a Band-Aid.
And it's nice to see that you've put your sense of humor and your obvious artistic skills and you're making it just a little bit more bearable for everybody out there. So thank you for that. And yeah, definitely go check out Danny's stuff over at Dab Design on Facebook and definitely order something. And yeah, we can't wait to have you back on.
I appreciate you guys.
It's been really, really great. You take care of yourself. I look forward to your unicorns on Dead Pancreas Society. And no, it was awesome to get to know you.
Yeah,
I have nothing else. Michelle has learned how to say your last name, even though she's already forgotten
it. Oh my God, I totally have. Wait, Danny, go ahead. Say it again.
Tuszynski.
There you go. So disappointed in you.
Shut up. You didn't know it either. All right. Have a great night. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'd love to have you. Tune in next week. I don't know. We might do something crazy. Who knows nowadays? All right. Say goodbye, Myke.
Goodbye, Myke.
Goodbye, Myke.